Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Matthew Sports Talk. I know this episode's kind of late. I was gonna do it last night, but I was kind of tired, so I fell asleep and whatnot. So, week 3 of the NFL season, the Vikings pulling off a win after being down by 10 points twice to beat the Detroit Lions 28-24. So, like I said, I knew that their offense was gonna be legit. Um, I was kind of surprised how well their defense shut down Justin Jefferson, but that gave other guys to a chance to make some plays. Adam Thielen had a touchdown, his 50th career touchdown. KJ Osborne had the game winner. So yeah, it's the NFL. Each week, it doesn't matter who you play. As there was a lot of upsets last week. So I'll just dive into the rankings right now. Number 32 at the bottom is Houston. They lost to the Bears 23-20. Now, I think the Bears had like 3 turnovers in the game, I want to say. They had a lot of turnovers. Oh, they only had 2. Well, they both had 2, but still, it's like I think the alarming stat was the Bears had like 200 something rushing yards. 281 freaking rushing yards. Like, that's embarrassing. So, yep, Houston. And Houston is there's one other team, which I'll get to in a little bit, that doesn't have a win yet this season. And Houston's one of them. They do have a tie, but they don't have a win. Number 31, the Jets. They're down 2 spots. They lost to the Bengals, pretty typical. Number 30, the Seattle Seahawks down 2 spots. Seattle lost to the Falcons, 27-23. They had their chances. So, number 29, Atlanta up 3 spots. They just beat Seattle. Number 28, Carolina up from number 31. Carolina, who did they beat? Carolina beat the Saints. Talk about the Saints in a second. So, excuse me. 27 Washington. They got beat up by the Eagles. 26 New England. Down from number 21. New England. I think it might be time for Bill Belichick to retire because it's looking bad in New England. Number 25, the Raiders, the biggest drop. They dropped from number 14 to number 25. 11, that's 5, 10, 11 spots. They're 0-3. Whoever thought of that at the beginning of the season. I think they lost to Tennessee? Yep, they lost to Tennessee 24-22, so I don't know what's going on there. Number 24, New Orleans, down from 20. They lost to the Carolina Panthers. Now, I didn't read too much into the stats, but I'm curious as to... Yeah, Jameis Winston, he threw for 353 yards, and he had a touchdown throw. But, just 2 interceptions. Like I said, Jameis Winston ain't that guy. He is going to cost you in the end. So, that's how it is. That is how it is. All right. Number 23, Tennessee, up from number 27. They beat Oakland. I mean, not Oakland. The Raiders. They're in Vegas now. Hello. 22, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh lost to the Browns on Thursday night last week, 29-17. Not that surprising. Number 21, Detroit, up from number 26. And now some of you are thinking, you moved them up 5 spots even though they lost? I'm like, yeah, okay. I respect Detroit a little bit more, okay? They are a good team. They might even, who knows, they might sneak in somewhere. But, I highly doubt it. But Sorry, excuse me. There's something on my screen that will not go away. There we go. All right. 20, Chicago. They're 2-1. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I think they are destined to... Things keep on popping up. Stop. Yeah, and you're not going to have Justin Fields throwing for 130 yards, and you guys are going to win a lot. So, the Colts are up to number 19. They beat the Chiefs. Now, granted, a lot of it was because of the Chiefs' screw-ups, but, you know, is what it is. Giants are at number 18, down 3 spots. They lost to the Cowboys on Monday night. Not that surprising. It was pretty close for a while, but the Cowboys pulled it out. Arizona at number 17, down 5 spots. They lost to the Rams, right? Yep, 20-12. Number 16, the biggest jump of the week. Jacksonville up from number 25. They beat the Chargers 38-10. Would have never guessed it. So, number 15, Cincinnati up 1 spot. They beat the Jets. Big whoop. Number 14, Cleveland beat the Steelers. Number 13, Dallas beat the Giants. Number 12, down from number 7, the Chargers lost to the Jaguars. Number 11, down from number 8, the 49ers. You know, Jimmy G is still... I feel so sad because it's Jimmy G. You know? I think there was a reason that they decided to start Trey Lance this season, but we'll never know what happens in that case because Trey Lance, you know, got injured. So we have to wait until next season because the jury is still out on him, at least in my opinion. Number 10, Rams up from number 13. I'm still not that high on the Rams. They still don't look that good. But time will tell. Number 9, my Minnesota Vikings. Number 8, Denver. Denver's up from number 9. Vikings are up from number 11. Up from number 10 to number 7, Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, man. That man, he's playing with house money. Because, you know, I think the Ravens are going to end up regretting not signing him to a long-term deal. But who knows? Maybe that means more money for him when they do. Number 6, down from number 3, Tampa Bay. Lost to Green Bay. All because y'all missed a 2-point conversion. Number 5, Kansas City, losing to Indianapolis. They're down from number 2. Number 4, Buffalo. Down from number 1. We have a new number 1. Buffalo lost to Miami. I know it's only by 2 points, but still, they lost. So therefore, like my man Stephen A. Smith would say, the power rankings are fluid. They are fluid. They change every week. Just because I might think Buffalo might be the best team in the league doesn't mean they're the best team right now. I'll get to the best team in a minute. Number 3, Green Bay, up from number 6. I mean, they beat Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was number 3, so I had to move them up. And then number 2, Philadelphia, up from number 5. Philadelphia has probably been the best because I think preseason I had them number 15 or 16, so they've had the best projection. So, and then number 1, Miami, beat Buffalo. So therefore, I would have to make them the number 1 because they beat the number 1. So, if you want to argue with me on that, go ahead, but I don't care. All right, so that takes care of that. Now, week 4 predictions. As soon as I open up my fantasy app. By the way, my fantasy team is 1-2, and you know, Jefferson has had the sucky past 2 weeks, so hopefully that means Jefferson has a good week this week. I am projected to win by 20 points, so. All right, my picks for the week. First up, the Thursday night game, playing in literally like an hour and a half. Dolphins and Bengals. I'm going to say Dolphins by 7. I don't think the Bengals are, like, after seeing them so far this season, I just don't think they're that good anymore. All right, and then I'll come back to the Vikings and Saints. Browns and Falcons. I'll say Browns. Browns by 7. I feel like the Falcons defense has some points in it. Cowboys and Commanders. Cowboys by 10. I don't think the Cowboys are. I think the Cowboys defense is going to show up big. Lions and Seahawks. I am going to have the Lions. Yes, I picked the Detroit Lions to win over the Seattle Seahawks. I say by 6. Let's go 6. Colts and Titans. I'm going to say Colts by 4. Giants and Bears. Giants by 6. I feel comfortable saying Giants by 6. Eagles and Jaguars. I'm gonna say Eagles, but I think this is gonna be a close one. I think the Jaguars can make it interesting. I say Eagles by 4. Steelers and Jets. I say Steelers by 7. Bills and Ravens. Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. I have the Bills, so I'm just going to say that. I have the Bills. I'm going to say Bills by 3. I honestly think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a high-scoring game, but a close game. Chargers and Texans. I'm going to say Chargers, but I think Texans might be making it a little interesting. I'm going to say Chargers by 6. Cardinals and Panthers. I'm going to say Cardinals by 6. Yeah, 6. Packers and Patriots. Packers plus 10. You know, Mac Jones might not be playing, and even if he does play, Patriots haven't looked good this season, so I'm going to say Packers plus 10. Raiders and Broncos. Sorry. Excuse me. I have Raiders on here. I'm going to stick with the Raiders. I say by 3. I'm not feeling good about that pick, but Raiders got to get a win. Chiefs and Buccaneers. This game might have actually been played here at Minneapolis at US Bank Stadium if Hurricane Ian impacted the Tampa area, which sadly it didn't. I was like, man, I was hoping to get like a cheap ticket and sport my man Mahomes jersey there, but no luck there. I'm going to have the Chiefs over the Buccaneers. I say by 4. Then Monday night game, 49ers and Rams. I'm going to say 49ers by, I think it's going to be a close game, by 3. All right, and then we go to the Vikings and the Saints. They're in London, so it's going to be on NFL Network at 8:30 in the morning. Whoever thought that was a good idea. I wish what they would do is they'd do a night game in London. Then that way we have it at the regular time. But no, they can't do that because they're in London. And it might have screwed up their, sleep schedule and whatnot. So as far as our offense versus their defense concerns, it's kind of even. Their defense, they do have Marshawn Lattimore. They do have good matchups. So I think we're going to have a big run game, though, I hope. So as long as that guy, Dalvin Cook's healthy, which sounds like he should be able to play. And then when I switch to their offense versus our defense, I'm going to say even for now, but I know Jameis Winston's banged up. Alvin Kamara's banged up. Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, pretty much almost all their playmakers on offense are beat up. So we might see Andy Dalton, but if not, I think Jameis Winston's going to throw at least 2 picks. So I'm going to say even for now, but no, actually, correction. I'll give a slight advantage to the Vikings defense. We will have Harrison Smith back. We might be without Cedarius Smith, so we'll have to see. Pass rush might not be working, but I believe if Jameis Winston is playing, he will throw at least 2 interceptions. So, Special teams, it's pretty much a toss-up. I'm just going to say even across the board. Coaching, I give us advantage to the Saints. Just because of who Dennis Allen studied under. He, studied under Sean Payton, so. X Factor. It's going to be even because it's in London. It's a news first sight game. I do think the Vikings might have a little bit more of a fan base there over the Saints, so maybe I give a slight edge to the Vikings. But anyway, so then my game prediction is I'm going to say Vikings 28, Saints 23. Okay. I think both teams will get a couple of touchdowns, but I think the Vikings will prevail and move to 3-1. So, and that is the picks. Now, what else should we talk about? Oh yeah, so twin season is done. I worked the last. Oh, why did I do that? There we go. Worked the last home game of the season today, so they lost. Big whoop. One other thing I will talk about though, Minnesota Golden Gophers football. They are 4-0, and they are now ranked number 21. So let me just pull up their schedule really quick, because they have convincingly beat every single team so far this season. I mean, New Mexico State, whatever, they beat them 38-0. Western Illinois 62-10, big whoop. Colorado 49-7. But last week they played Michigan State and East Lansing and beat them 34-7. And this was usually they like to run the ball. In this game, I mean, Tanner Morgan had 268 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. So they're throwing the ball too. It's like they had more receiving yards than they did passing yards or rushing yards. So I'm like, right now, and I'm looking at this team's schedule. This weekend they have Purdue. That should be a winnable game. And then they have Illinois. Winnable game. At Penn State, that might be a little bit dicey, but Penn State ain't what they used to be. So, once again, I'll say winnable game. Rutgers, winnable. Nebraska, winnable. Northwestern, winnable. Iowa's not as good as they were last year. Winnable. And then Wisconsin, once again, not as good as last year. Winnable. All their games are winnable. They could go 12-0 this season, going to the Big Ten championship game, and I mean, obviously, if they win that and if they're 13-0, they're in the college football playoff. But still, I mean, honestly, right now it'd be Rose Bowl or bust for the Golden Gophers. I mean, if they have one loss going into that, conference championship game, still. But honestly, I would seriously think what would happen if the Gophers are 13-0, and if they beat Ohio State or whoever, and they're, 12-1, and then the Gophers are 13-0. That's college football playoff, baby. I don't see how. I mean, unless they factor in strength of schedule more than, wins or losses. But that would still even be stupid. So, yeah, we'll just have to see. That surely should be interesting. And I'll talk about it, I'll keep on talking about it for as long as they remain interesting. So, and then, of course, we got Timberwolves season coming up. I'll be talking about them. I'll maybe talk a little bit about the Wild, all depends. So, until next time, guys, see ya, and stay tuned for next week's episode.